Hey, welcome back everyone. Rob here from Ram Studio Comics, and today we're going to be drawing the lateral view of the arm. So this is with the palm facing towards the body and seeing the back of the hand. And I'm going to start with a geometric or stereometric approach. I actually kind of start here and then I start drawing more organically. But the main thing is that in this illustration, I want to get the major volumes in place first. And drawing geometrically can generally help you spot connection points a little bit easier. So that's just one of the ways I like to do it. And by drawing the volumes first, it's a lot easier in many ways, I guess, but it's a lot easier to sculpt into it and get to the smaller forms. So here I'm trying to figure out the initial shape of the tricep, kind of struggling a little bit there for some reason. And I find the elbow, and then as I come down this way, I'm going to get the Brachioradialis and the Extensor Radialis longus. I don't know why those names are so long, but they are. But mainly I want to get the volume in underneath that of the Extensor Digitorum. And that's one that I find to be pretty helpful because it's probably the largest group or area of the muscles in the forearm, and they go right down to the back of the hand and extend out to the fingers. That's why a digitorum's in there. It controls the digits, the fingers. So the other thing is the relationship from one side to the other of the arm. This is evident all over the body, and I really like to pay attention to this because you get kind of an elongated side and a more condensed side. And I would say it's evident of the way the body pushes and pulls, but you probably know the body doesn't actually push, or the muscles don't actually push, they pull against the skeleton. So I think there needs to be that asymmetrical value to show the way the arms work, the legs work, the torso works. At any rate, I don't know the scientific reasoning behind that, but I just wanted to say that it's pretty evident. So from a visual standpoint, from an aesthetic standpoint, I think you have to really pay attention to that. It's also one of the things I notice with beginner artists. They'll have some pretty neat ideas going on, but they'll draw their bodies too even from side to side, or the arms or legs will be even from side to side. So that's one of the things that you can almost immediately start to identify with in your art and get a lot more expressive and a lot better, feeling of anatomy. Is just that, again, they're not the same from side to side, or, whatever the technical term is, posterior to anterior and all that fun stuff. So yeah, so now you see me sculpting in those different forearm muscles and making it a little bit more evident. And obviously erasing because I never get it right the first time, or probably right ever. But I also want to make sure I mention this, that whenever I do this stuff, it's not like I'm looking for extreme right and wrong. I realize there's going to be inconsistencies in my work, and that's part of the studies that we do as artists. And also the fact that we like to draw, if you're like me, or comic person, or like to draw character design, we're going to also embellish and create stylistic representations within that work. So it's really kind of tough because I want to share this stuff and help others, but then I also want to make sure they understand that I'm always kind of changing things a little bit naturally because I am, more of an imaginative type artist. I think we all are. We're using our imagination to recreate things. So some of it gets lost in translation or purposely shifted, I guess. But I do try to focus on what I can learn about the body so that there is a basis of realism to my work. But I've also noticed that even in anatomy books, I've got a bunch of them now, and they're different from one to the other. It's, again, it's part of it's the artist's interpretation, but then also it's just slight variations on what they might understand about the body. So again, you're probably going to see inconsistencies in my work. The hope is that by doing enough of it, is that I ultimately get better and you see less inconsistencies, or you at least spot when I'm trying to be stylized, based upon proportions and rendering and all that stuff. But again, this exercise, hopefully this isn't too fast for you. You can slow the video or pause it to catch up. Just practice drawing the volumes first and then cutting into those volumes and using certain muscles to show relationships and starting points, what I believe it's referred to as insertion points on the body. So one of the ones that I like here is the back of the long head of the tricep. As it comes down the back of the arm, it gives you the basis and starting point for all those forearm muscles. So if you notice, they all kind of start from the back of that bottom of that tricep, and then they sprawl out and they go towards the hand. And obviously the brachioradialis and the extensor carpi wrap around the forearm. But if you can get those right, I think the rest of it becomes a lot easier. So I'm going to be doing different viewpoints real soon. I would love to know what you think about this video, as well as what else you'd like to see on the channel real soon. So as always, keep drawing, keep having fun, and bye for now.